he would scarcely manage to feed his wife and his two children, Hansel and Gretel. And this made him miserable. The day came when there was nothing left to eat in their house but one loaf of bread. And he grew terribly anxious.
His wife said to him that evening as they lay in bed, "Listen, husband, there's something you must do if we are not all to starve. Early in the morning, take the two children, give them what little bread we have, and lead them into the forest. Build a huge fire for them, and while it is burning, go away and leave them there alone." For a long time, the man could not reconcile himself to his wife's plan, but she would give him no peace until he finally agreed.
The children had heard everything their mother had said, and Gretel began to cry. Hansel whispered, "It's all right. It'll be all right. I have an idea." Then he got up as quietly as he could, put on his jacket, and went outside. White pebbles on the ground bristled in the moonlight. Hansel carefully gathered them up and saw the pebble stuffed the pocket in his jacket with as many as would go in it. Then he went back inside and lay down beside his little sister and fell asleep.
Early in the morning, before the sun had risen, the parents came and awakened the children. To each one they gave a little piece of bread. Gretel took both pieces and put them under her apron because her brother's pockets were filled with pebbles. Then they all set out on a path into the forest. While they were walking along, Hansel often stood still and peered back at the house. His father said, "Why are you always stopping and looking back?" "Oh," Hansel replied, "I am looking at my white kitten, who is sitting on the roof and wants to say goodbye to me." Secretly, however, each time he gazed back, Hansel dropped one of the small white pebbles on the path. The boy's mother said, "Just get going. That's not your kitchen. It is the morning sun shining on the chimney." But Hansel kept gazing back, and each time he did, he let another stone fall.
And so they went on walking a long time, until they were in the midst of the great forest. There they stopped and gathered firewood. Their father lit a huge fire, and when it was burning brightly, their mother said, "Rest a while now, children. Your father and I are going off to cut firewood. Wait here by the fire until we come back."
Early in the morning, before daybreak, they all got up. Bye-bye. Early in the morning, before daybreak, they all got up, and each of the children was given a small piece of bread. As they walked along, Hansel often paused and gazed back. His father asked, "My boy, why are you always stopping and gazing back at the house?" "Oh," answered Hansel, "I am looking at my little white pigeon who is perched on the roof and wants to say goodbye to me." Secretly, however, he would crumbled up bits of his bed, and each time he turned around, he would drop a crumb on the back. His mother said, "Just get going. It's not your little pigeon. It is the morning sun striking the chimney." But Hansel kept glancing back, and each time he did, he dropped another crumb. And when they had come even deeper into the forest to where it was the thickest, they stopped. Their father built a huge fire. Their mother told them to rest and wait while they went off to chop wood. As they sat by the fire, Gretel gave half of her bread to Hansel, for her brother had strewn all of his along the path. They waited until evening, but no one came to fetch them.
When it grew very dark and the moon rose, Hansel looked for the breadcrumbs, but they were gone. The thousands of woodland birds had picked them up and ate them. Hansel still managed to find the way home and pull Gretel along after him. They walked all through the night, all the next day, but they were lost in the great forest.
On the third day, children hungry, they came upon a little house that was built out of bread. Its roof was made of pancakes and its windows of sugar candy. The children were so happy to see it that they ran up to it. Hansel to the spongy roof and Gretel to the sparkling panes of the window. And they ate greedily. Hansel was devouring a huge chunk of roof, and Gretel was pushing out yet another window pane.
They heard a tiny voice called out from inside. Nibble, nibble, nibble. Who gobbles my house to rubble? The children were so frightened that they let fall what they had in their hands.
Just then, a gnarled old woman came gliding out the door. When she caught sight of the hungry children, she waved her head and said, "Oh, you poor little things! Come along with me. There's plenty to eat inside the house. I'll take good care of you." And she took them both by the hand, led them inside her house, and served them their dinner.
Then she made up their bed, and the tiny children laid down and fell fast asleep.
The next morning, before Hansel and Gretel were awake, the old woman crept up to their bedside. As she watched the two of them sleeping so sweetly, she thought to herself, "Now there is a tasty morsel for you." And she lifted up Hansel and carried him outside and locked him up in a little stall as if he were a prisoner. Then she went back inside and shook Gretel awake, yelling, "Get up, you lazy girl! Go out to the well and draw water, and then get to work and make something good to eat. Your brother is in the stall over there. First we are going to fatten him up, and when he is fat, I will eat him."
Gretel was terrified of the old woman and had to do as she was told. Every day she brought Hansel water and lots of good food to eat. She herself got nothing to eat but clamshells. And each day the old woman went to Hansel's stall and told him to stick out one of his fingers so she could feel if he were growing bump. And each day Hansel held out a bone instead of a finger. Even one evening, after 4 weeks had gone by, and it still seemed now that Hansel was getting no fatter. The old woman said to Gretel, "Now be quick about it. Go out to fetch water to fill the cauldron. Tomorrow morning, whether or not your little brother is fat, I'm going to slaughter and boil him. You are going the water. I will be kneading dough. We'll break bread while he's cooking."
Early in the morning, when Gretel got up to light a fire under the cauldron full of water, the bread was already in the oven. And the old woman called out to Gretel, "Come over here right now. It smells as if the bread will be done soon. My eyes are weak. I want you to look and see if the bread is turning a golden brown. If you can't see in far enough, then get on this board and I'll push you in. There's plenty of room in the oven. Once you're inside, you can take a good look. Now the old woman really meant to leave Gretel in the oven to roast, but Gretel could tell what the old woman had in mind and said to her, I'm not quite sure how to go about it. Could you show me? If you get on the board, I'll push you in.
And the little old woman sat on the board, and Gretel pushed her into the oven as far as she could. Then she slammed the door and fastened the iron belt. Inside the oven, the old witch screamed and hollered, and how Gretel was running away. The old witch began burned to ash.
Gretel ran directly to Hansel's stall and let him out. She told him what she had done, and the happy children hugged and kissed one another.
One last time, they went back inside to the witch's house. Everywhere they looked, their precious guns and sticky jaws, sparkling jewels. They took all
that they could carry with them and set out for home. They walked and walked, and at last the woods began to look familiar.
When they arrived home, their father with joy to see them. Their mother had died. He told them every day that they were gone. He'd been fed with sadness. Now they emptied their pockets of the glittering jewels, and the woodcutters and his 2 children lived happily and prospered to the end of their days.